Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to European Truck Simulator 2. And welcome to Alexandroupoli. Yeah, we are in eastern Greece. We are as far east in Greece as we can get. I came up from Cyprus because I didn't feel like doing any more ferry crossings. They tend to desynchronize my audio. Hey, look at this. We're driving this Goodyear branded truck. Why? Well, let's get rolling and I'll tell you. So we're going to pick up a job and we're going to take it up into Macedonia. I don't think we've been there yet. And let's... what? What is our map saying here? Hang on. Moment. Is it... where is it? Is it right in front of us? It's saying go down there and turn. Maybe? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go across the street. Oh, it's already turning into a bad episode. Let's go across the street. Hey, man. It's Greece. I believe there's a little bit of flexibility. That's what I've been told. Let's go over here and take a look. It's one of these two places. And if it's not this one... Oh, this is terrible what I'm about to do. Sorry, folks. It's either this one or it's to the right. No, it is not these. Okay, so it's to the right. So let's get backed up. Let's get backed up. I know. And we'll go to the right. It has to be to the right now because there's nothing to the left on the map. Okay, so there's that. Wait till the traffic clears out a little bit. Right, why are we driving this here Goodyear truck? Well, I'll tell you. I wanted a blimp. I saw a little pop-up in, not my feed, I guess the homepage, the main menu, saying that the Goodyear rollout had been extended. I didn't know anything about it. I looked into it on World of Trucks, and sure enough, there's a Goodyear promotional thing, and you can win yourself a little blimp right there. Fantastic. I want that blimp. But the problem was we were rocking our own corporate skin, and I tend to favor Michelin tires. I'm not really a Goodyear fan. Making a big turn here. Carefully. Carefully. Beautiful. Right, get her down to neutral. Let's take a look here. This is the one. Macedonia. There you go. So, no, going this way. I'm going to clear it? Yeah, just barely. So step one of my madness was to go to the Steam store and get the Goodyear DLC so we could at least skin the truck. And then I made 10 deliveries. I delivered 10 Goodyear cargoes off of external contracts, and I got that little blimp. Man, I am a sucker for loot boxes. I really am. I'm just going to load this up. Let's get rolling. It's about 600 kilometers. That's a full episode, so let's get rolling. So stop here. Load up. Fantastic.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Finding new routes.
All right. And I guess we get back out the way we came in. Yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, all that for a little blimp for a company that I wouldn't say that I don't like Goodyear. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the product. It's just not my favorite brand. But that's the power of loot boxes. I am a sucker for them. Anyway, that's why we're driving this truck. We're now driving a Goodyear branded truck through Greece, and we're full of, we're loaded with disinfectant. Taking it to Macedonia. Not a single part of this episode makes any sense, but that's what we're going with. Right. Oh, and we swapped trucks, too. I guess I could have mentioned that earlier. We are back in our Volvo, and it was interesting to notice as I was setting this up that it will take a DLC skin, a DLC paint job. And I was wondering if this is the Pendragon, which used to be the Ohaha, and I was wondering, is this really just the base game truck with a lot of slots added to it? Which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it like, no big deal. The modder only did whatever. It's a great truck. It's got great accessories. I love the toolboxes. And that skirt on the front with the low driving lights gives this thing a stance like no other. Carefully. We got it. gives it a great stance. So it's not, I'm not saying that adding slots to a base game truck is not a big deal, because some of the stuff is custom made. The toolboxes and various other things, they only fit this truck, so they're not ported in from anywhere. They were made for this truck. But the fact that it will take the DLC skin tells me that this is essentially at its core a base game truck. Now, it hasn't been updated for a while. I'm reluctant to say it's been abandoned, but I think it's been more or less abandoned. And I'm wondering if it's still pulling from base game physics, and that's why we're able to use it, because physics changed pretty dramatically with 1.35. Broke a lot of mods. They've been fixed since then, but initially they were not working too good. So, and lift axle is up. Lift axle was down. Okay, here we go. So anyway, decided to swap out the trucks. We were driving our RJL Scania with the cast Ikari rigid box on it. I really like that truck. I like that combo. I think it's very novel. It's certainly, compared to base game, it's certainly something that when I first got into Euro Truck in base game and seeing the sort of limited choices that you have with base game at the time for both trucks and trailers, to think that you'd be able to drive a rig like that, rigid with a little dolly and etc. It's super cool, and it's definitely different. It's definitely novel. I like that aspect of it. We're okay on fuel, and it's on the other side, so let's just keep rolling. So I do like that truck, but I'd like to switch it up periodically. And it's funny because I'll drive one truck for 3 or 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, however many weeks, and then I hop in something else, and it's like, oh yeah, this is fantastic. Why am I not driving this all the time? All right, so we're going to Turkey. Oh dear. It's getting a little... So we're going straight here, and then we're looping around. Yeah, this makes sense. Sort of. We'll figure it out. So, new truck, new skin, and we're going to start heading back west. I would like to make our way back to home base. I'd like to make our way back to Reims. There's no reason to. Nothing is really going to happen there. And I would also like to go back to... I believe it's Trinity? Yeah, in Jersey. I'd like to go back to where we did our very first truck sim episode like a year and a half ago. I think that'd be fun. Make that same trip and compare. So we'll start making our way west. And it shouldn't take too long to get there. And I forget, because I live in the western US, the distances sort of get distorted. I'm used to, two cities being 1,000 miles apart. And I forget that parts of Europe can be a little bit more compact. So we don't necessarily have to drive 2,000 kilometers to get from where we are to where we need to be. 80 here. So let's set the cruise control and not get 8 tickets this trip. Find a good gear. Beautiful. There we go. We are on the road. We're rolling. So yeah, we'll make our way back to the west, and we'll make our way at least to Reims. And then from there, we'll decide where we want to go next. Maybe we'll just do another loop again, right? Another clockwise loop up through the UK and up into Iceland. It'd be fantastic if we were up in Iceland in the winter again. That could work out. That could work out because it's late August now. So we've got 4 months, right, till deep winter, January 1st. And it's about 16 episodes. Yeah, we could do that. We'll just play it by ear, like we do. We have no plan whatsoever, other than like a broad goal. So that'll be our goal. We'll just keep driving around Europe clockwise. I haven't spent a ton of time in Central Western Europe. I haven't spent a lot of time in Germany. I think we sort of literally went around it, because we did go up the UK and then across Scandinavia, down through Eastern Europe, down into Italy, and then back to Greece. We haven't spent a lot of time in Germany, and I know that area has been rebuilt for 1.35. 1.34, was it not? Well, we're going a little fast here through these Greek twisties, and now we're getting a sign. Okay, all right. Then that just happened. We're going to check that on replay. And oh, game. We're going to check that on replay and see and see what the hell just happened. How we doing on damage? Okay, no, oh dear, no damage, no ticket. That was cool. I love it. Oh, game. So, what was I talking about before that happened? 1.34. 1.34 is when the new Germany came out, was it not? When they made all the improvements to the oldest parts of the map? Yeah, I want to say it was. And then, over and above that, we've got, I assume 1.36 is going to be coming this fall. Total speculation on my part. I've heard no rumors. I've read no posts. But I suspect that 1.36 will be the precursor to Road to the Black Sea on ETS and Utah DLC on ATS. What is my track record for accuracy on predicting truck sim drops? Zero. I was still waiting for Texas when they released Washington, so don't use me as any kind of a bellwether. I'm no sage when it comes to predicting DLC. However, that's my bet right now. I think 1.36 will come out this fall. I don't know if 1.36 will be as big as 1.35. 1.35 was pretty comprehensive, and adding €7, yeah, we'll pay that. And then adding ownable trailers, that was kind of a big deal. Concentrating. DX11, kind of a big deal. In retrospect, adding the hoses was really not that big a deal. It seemed like a big deal at the time. That was what, 1.32? It seemed like a big deal, but in hindsight, it's not. And I'm wondering what other drops will happen in the future. What other features will be added to the game that will make us look back at things like ownable trailers and say, oh yeah, I mean, that was cool, but it's not cool like what they just added. So we'll see. I'm curious the direction the game goes in, and I wonder about this all the time. When will they, or will they ever, make the big jump like Dovetail did when they, how do we want to say this? I guess they added Train Sim World. They didn't abandon the Train Simulator franchise, they just added Train Sim World. And I really do wonder if SCS would not be smart to do that same thing. Reason being, people do have a lot of mods and a lot of DLC for ETS2 and ATS, we'll call it ATS1. For them to more or less abandon the game and just take it to ETS3 and ATS2, if all that content is not compatible, you're sort of leaving people hanging. And this is not... I was talking to my girl the other night about binging Netflix and binging a game. I watch a YouTuber, the Rad Brad, and he plays a lot of fantasy and FPS and RPG games, and he just burns through them in 20 or 30 or 50 episodes. It's very, very cool to watch. But I wonder how many of those games are games that you would go back to and play for years and years and years. And so a franchise like Truck Sim, ETS, or ATS, this is a game that people have been playing for years, and I believe people will play for years. And I mean, individual people have been playing this particular sim for years. For SCS to just say, that's it, it's done. It's not going to grow anymore. It's not going to evolve anymore. You have to get a new game, and you have to acquire all new content, either by buying DLC or by tracking down mods. It's kind of it's kind of not cool. It's not. So I think Dovetail has found a perfect compromise in that they're keeping the Train Simulator franchise alive, and if you own the $3,000 of DLC for that game, for that sim, you're good to go. It's continuing to be refreshed as much as it can be, updated and patched as much as it can be. It's a very old game. And when I think about ETS, underneath ETS, under the bonnet, under the hood, it's a 20-year-old engine? And I don't know how much longer it can be patched and refreshed. 2 or 3 years? 5 years maybe? I don't know. So I personally want ETS 3 But I recognize, I'm going to slow down a little bit here. Again, hope this guy doesn't ram me again. That was kind of next level. I really do need to check the replay and see if I was doing anything to warrant that sort of behavior. But as much as I want ETS3, as much as I would love to see this game look like something by Codemasters or Ubisoft, I recognize that, first off, that's something new to buy. And a AAA new release is 60, 70, $100, right? So there's that, and then there's, can my machine run it, right? That's the next question. And then the third thing is, now I got to get all that content again. And even free stuff, you still have to track down. We go through this every 2 years with Farm Sim. Yeah, most of the mods are free, but you still need to wait for them. You need to wait 3 or 4 months for the mods to be available. And it's a strange phenomena in gaming that with something like the Farm Sim franchise, the new one comes out, right? New game is always supposed to be better than the old game, and for 6 months, it's not. For 6 months, the new game is comparatively terrible, to the point where people stay on the old game for 6 months. Okay, we got a speed limit change here. People stay on the previous game for 6 months. They say, I'll buy it later when it's on sale, and I'll wait until there's some decent mod content. And that's atypical in business. Normally people want the newest and the best, and for there to be an offering from a company, from a developer, that people look at and say, nah, I don't think so. Maybe in a few months. That's maybe dangerous is too strong a word, but that's kind of a dicey place. Yeah, that's a good word. That's a dicey place for a business to be in, because a new product, oh dear, I gotta slow it down. That's a dicey place for a business to be in, because products typically sell better when they're new, when people are first learning about them, when they're fresh and exciting. And as competitive as business is, and as saturated by media as we all are, it's very easy for a product to get lost in the static. And in 6 months, when it's good, right, when it's something that people would want to have again, they've already forgotten about it. So the idea that SCS would release a game, and again, I'm just speculating, of course. SCS would release a new version of Truck Sim, and people would take a look at it and say, maybe in 6 months. We've made our investment, right? SCS is saying, we've made our investment. We've committed the time and the money to this. That's how it exists. We spent the money to develop this. We need to recover that money, either for ourselves or for our investors. We can't wait 6 months for people to start buying it. So it's a very curious problem, and I'm looking forward to seeing how SCS sorts it out. Now, the other possibility is they don't do anything. They just keep this game going as long as they can, and they continue supporting it until there's absolutely no market for it. And at that point, some developers have just sort of gone dark for a couple years and then very quietly released it as open source, right? Posted a public license, and anybody can now, have at it. We've made our money. So we'll see. But in the meantime, DX11 and some of the other improvements that have made the game really leap forward, I think, easily taken 2 or 3 or 5 years off the look of the game. Super, super happy about that. I do love Truck Sim. I don't play it really hardly ever anymore, which is a shame. I only play it when I'm recording. So about an hour a week for each. About an hour for ETS, about an hour for ATS total per week. And I'm so buried in other more I don't want to say involving, that's not right. That's not really fair to the Truck Sim. You know what I mean. I'm because of the channel, I'm spending a lot of time playing and testing and maintaining other games and other sims, and I don't spend enough time in this one. But this is the old reliable. I do wonder if I could only have one sim, would this be it? Euro Truck too, not ATS. Although ATS has really improved dramatically, and I'd say the past 18 months as far as content. But would it be ETS? Would it be Farm Sim? If it was Farm Sim, which Farm Sim would it be? It might be 17. It might be. Would it be a Race Sim? Would it be Project Cars of all things? Well, Project Cars 2. I just say Project Cars because Project Cars, the original one, has sort of been eclipsed. But would it? I mean, it's not the best physics, but there's a ton of cars and a ton of tracks. It looks great. It runs fast, and it's very immersive. You know, it's not. It's somewhere between Forza and R Factor when it comes to race sims. But it's definitely, if anything, more on the Forza side. It's more of a game than a sim, but it's so immersive. It's so immersive and it's so cool. So would it be Project Cars 2? I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully, fortunately, I won't have to make that choice. There are so many good sims out right now. I have said this 100 times. I don't like repeating myself, but I will say again, this is a fantastic time to be in gaming, and having just come back into it after a long break, many years, being back into it for about 2 years now, year and a half, yeah, give or take. It's amazing. It's a fantastic time to be in gaming. As far as new stuff, WRC 8 is the next drop that I'm aware of. That is in September, so just a few weeks from now. And then after that will be in October, the Platinum Edition of Farming Simulator 19, which will include, I believe, 30 pieces of class equipment. 35? Well, there's 35 new pieces of equipment being added. I don't know if they're all class, but we've been waiting for that for a long time. That's going to be super cool. And November, I don't think I have anything on my calendar for November. And then December is Automobilista 2. And that one I'm really conflicted about because it's supposed to be as good as any other top tier race sim, which would be for me things like iRacing, Race Room, R Factor, Assetto Corsa, right? It's supposed to be that good. I've never played it. It's supposed to be that good, but it's Brazilian, and I got nothing against Brazil. I'm just not into the Brazilian racing scene. So it would be the same as if somebody released a really, really good like BTCC simulator. I'm just not into that type of racing, right? Or the V8 supercars, Australian V8 supercars. I'm just really not into that kind of racing. So there's nothing wrong with it. I just have no passion for it. I have no interest in it. So we'll see. And I guess it'll depend on the pricing too. If you can pre-order it, if they've got a smoking deal, I'd be interested in it. But I don't know if I would do it for loading, little tile there. I don't know if I would do it for 70 or 80 euro, which is, well, that's something else we could talk about. Pricing, man. It seems like Sims more than AAA games are all over the map. And it's interesting that I said that. I didn't really plan to say that. It just sort of popped out. But it's like there are Sims and then there are AAA games. And we... Alright, so we do want to go here and we want to stay to the right. Okay. There are Sims and there are AAA games. And it's interesting that... How do I want to say this? Our Sims may look great, and we love them, and the developers put a lot of time and effort and money into making them for us. And yet, on some level, we know that our developers that make these Sims are not Rockstar. They're not Ubisoft. They're not... for the most part, they're not companies like that. I'm trying to think of any massive developers. No, I mean, they're not quite independent. They're bigger than that. But they're not mega developers like Rockstar. So I guess there is a gap between AAA games and Sims. Sims are always sort of the underdog. They're always sort of, you know. But that doesn't seem to have any determination on price. I've seen good Sims pre-order for 25 euro. I've seen good Sims No discount, no sale price, 125 bucks for everything. So it's tricky to sort of step through that minefield and know, what do I want to buy? I mean, obviously, I just want to buy everything. But what do I want to buy? Hang on. I got this guy coming up here on the left. Carefully.
Keep left.
What do I want to buy, and how many of these sims are going to take a little getting used to, sir? Oh dear. Wow. Okay. Some of that was my fault. Some of that, I think, we're going to blame on Greek drivers. Some sims take a little while to get used to. You gotta lean into them. You can't tell in 20 minutes or 2 hours whether or not this is what you want it to be. So I think the Steam refund policy, as good as it is, and I've taken advantage of it, I feel just the right amount of times. I feel like if you refund too many games, they start getting a little not cool with that.
Exit right.
But for me, it's maybe 2 or 3 per year. Just absolute. Oh, this is a disaster. Give me my money back. But there are other sims that you got to settle into them a little bit, and you can't tell in 20 minutes or 2 hours how good it's going to be. So that, I think, that can be tricky as well, because going back to that question of what do you pay for a sim and what's it worth. I just got the the FIA Euro Truck Racing instant refund. That game's a disaster. And other reviewers that I've seen, I didn't review it, but other YouTubers that I've seen that review that sort of thing said, yeah, this is a hot mess. So I knew right away that that's not something that I was going to get used to. But then something like Assetto Corsa Competizione has taken months to find its groove, and it still hasn't. We're on patch, 1.08, public beta. I think it's going to be 2 or 3 more patches from now before it's even, I don't want to say good, I mean it's good now, but before it's really solid. And then 3 or 4 more patches after that until they get everything finally slotted into place. Like animated pit stops, and get the multiplayer sorted out, get the career mode sorted out, add a couple tracks which are missing, and various other things. So if you played that game as it was on day one, right, V1.0, instant refund. This is a catastrophe. It won't even run. It's constantly crashing. And now here it is, 3 months, 4 months later? Good to go. Most people, I think, will not have that kind of patience with any title, not just Sim, but any title, right? If it's crashing repeatedly, the day you get it, you're out of here. Refund. So when you put those two together, I think, well, obviously what the market will tolerate is going to determine your pricing. Sir? There he goes. And what people are willing to pay for a game is going to determine what you charge for a game. That makes perfect sense. But I think you can sort of determine that by seeing what people are paying for similar games. Wow. All right. I did just, off topic, update the Jazzy Cat packs. So we got a lot of new liveries on trucks, and I believe we've got about 25 new types of cars. What's happening up here? We don't have to take a ferry, do we? Or are we going through a frontier? Something's happening up here. Something's happening. It looks like, are we getting on a... What are these people doing? Oh dear. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Yeah, because I think... I know. I think I may need to be in this queue. Sir? I think I may need to be in this queue. I can't really tell. I could do without that beeping. I really could. I yeah, I want to pull forward to stop that goddamn horn, but I don't think I'm in the right place. Wow. This is not a base map area. This is pro mods. So who's to say? I think we're just looking at the map. In fact, we can look at this map as well. Yeah, we're going through here. Okay, I wasn't sure if we were getting on a train from the look of that tiny icon there in the corner. I guess it's a border guard holding up a sign, but from a certain angle, it looks like the little symbol for the the horn. It looks like the little symbol for the train that you get at the tunnel crossing out of Dover. We're going to sit here for another 30 seconds or so, and then we're going to pull up. I believe I need to be in this queue on the right, and I'm concerned that if I pull up here on the left, we won't be able to get back in. But then my other concern is this queue is absolutely not moving. And when I go outside to look, there's that horn again. All right, screw it. Solving problems. That's what Truck Sim is all about. Yeah, it's possible that there's an open lane on the left, but it seems unlikely. Could be there's an open lane on the right. What the hell's going on up here? Oh, those are all just parked vehicles? Or is this... I don't know what's going on there. Oh, man. If those are static vehicles, you really need to make that more clear so that people don't sit there waiting for them to move. Oh, that's how it goes. Okay. Well, we're rolling again. So pull right up here. To start the border check, press. All right, checking your documents. Yep, everything looks good. All right. Being very thorough. There we go. Everything is in order. You bet it is. All right. So we have to be into Macedonia by now. I don't know if we're going to make it to the end of this trip in this episode. I may finish up the last little bit off camera depending on how close we get. So we'll go right down here.
Keep right, and then turn right. Turn right. Keep left.
Just a little bit more. A little bit more. There we go. Right, more border checking. Yeah, I was thinking, I was trying to gather myself as we were pulling up to the second checkpoint. That first one, ooh, that was a little rough. I was trying to figure out how you would solve that problem. Because parked trucks, I think, really do add a lot of realism to a map. You see parked trucks, places like this, you see parked trucks everywhere. I love it. But there needs to be some indication that they're static and that you need to go around them. Because if not, I would just, I would have sat there for another, I don't know, 10 minutes if I wasn't recording. Just waiting for the AI traffic jam to clear. But there was no AI traffic jam. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, how would you give an indication without ruining the immersion? How would you give an indication that a truck is static and is never going to move? Curious. Right, I think I'm starting to see the marker up on top. I think we might be getting close. The Friendship Motorway. Fantastic. Yep, so we are in Macedonia now, and it's not too awful far from here. I guess we could, the old reliable, let's set the cruise control here, get it in a good gear, and let's see how far it is. 137 kilometers, about 6 minutes. We're at 35 now. You want to just do 41? Yeah, let's just go ahead and knock it out, because if we don't, I can either finish it off camera, or next week we can do a 6-minute delivery. Let's just knock it out. And this will be good, because I think, slowly, I think we're starting to get tired as well, and this truck also has a very small fuel tank. So we're going to need fuel when we get to our yard here to drop off. So this will be perfect. We can get into town, make our delivery. I'll go to sleep, and then we'll just pick up from here next week and head west into... We could probably make it to... From Macedonia, we could probably make it to where? Definitely the Czech Republic, probably Austria in one episode. And then from Austria to France, that's a piece of cake. Okay. We'll see how it all works out. Man, a lot of rivers. Many rivers in Macedonia. Is that true? Is that a true fact? I have no idea. I know we're seeing a bunch of them. But could just be near the border. Who knows? Oh, man. My blimp. I'm so happy about my blimp. Such a silly thing. Whoa.
Keep right, and then exit right.
All right. We got something going on up here. Lift axle is up. We got a little action here.
Exit right.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Very tight. All right, and then right down here. Beautiful. Sleepy, is he making a big turn? He's stopping for me. I don't know what's going on there. We will take this opportunity. Thank you, sir. There we go. Right. Yeah, I'm trying to visualize the route in my head from the map when we picked up. Yeah, I think we got a little twisties and then we're there. Man, I'm really curious to see what happened with that car. I don't know how far out of line we were. I mean, I think that's ultimately the source of it, is we were not exactly where we were supposed to be in the lane. But still, that was... And we're loading some tiles here. That was very unexpected. Very unexpected, but so it goes. No damage, no ticket, no harm, no foul. We just keep rolling. Right through here. Beautiful. Very twisty, getting tired. I really hope that we are not far. Wow. Okay. All right. This was my other concern, is that the last part of this delivery would take significantly longer than the first part. Right. Back it down a gear. There we go. And we are on the boonies right now. Oh, this is getting exciting. I don't know where we are, man. We're getting up into the mountains. They really need their disinfectant in this town. Although, I mean, I guess if you're in a little town like this in the middle of nowhere, everything's going to come in by truck. Alright, speed limit picks up. Here we go. Sleepy on a twisty road in the evening. This would be terrible in real life. some kind of a mountaintop that we're passing over here. Beautiful. Oh, sunset. It's lovely. Right. And I think, when we get, whoa. Oh dear. Oh. When we get down to the bottom of the hill here, we're going to need to see how far we've got to go. If it's too far, 43 kilometers, yeah, we're essentially there. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go this way. Okay. Yeah, I think we are more or less there. It's perfect timing because everything is, speaking of, everything is coming apart on us. The wheels are coming off. We're tired, we're out of fuel, and it's getting dark. 3 good reasons to wrap up an episode. Here we go. Get through here. Okay. Speed limit is 80. Okay, so we can open it up just a little bit more. Oh dear. Okay, that's it looked, when I first saw that little spaghetti bowl on the mini map on the sat nav, it looked a little worse than it was. It's not too bad. And I can see our yard on the map. We got this.
Turn right. Get ready to turn right.
Well, I'm turning right, buddy. Don't you worry about me. Here we go.
Turn right.
Right through here. Right through here. Okay. So many warnings. Right out here. Fantastic. We got this. I think. Right down here.
Go straight on.
Jeezy Pete's. Feeling the pressure right now, I gotta tell you. Right through here.
Get ready to turn left.
Not quite yet. Right here.
Turn left.
Right here.
Turn right.
Jeez. Okay. Oh my god. So we make a left and then a right.
Turn right.
Interesting. Okay. This through there. Yeah, we got that. Okay. Where's our says it's right there. Find a good gear. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna loop around here and I'll just skip delivery. Let's get this done. There you go. This has been an intense episode, I have to say. Might not look like it, but it has been. Right. Level 32, we're getting close. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator 2. We'll see you next time. Take care now.